thank you and welcome to the show for today. This morning on Perspectives, I have an interesting topic. I have two young men here with me to discuss cannabis culture in Tennessee, which is kind of a taboo topic to some, and it's a little bit jarring to hear, but I think that this conversation is necessary, especially in the generation and in the day and age that we live in, where cannabis usage is becoming normalized and it is becoming legalized in different places around the country. And ultimately, we're just going to talk about that culture, the impact that it has had and is having on Tennessee communities. And I want to thank you guys for just joining me this morning to have this talk.
Thank you for having us.
This is not easy. People do not want to hear about this.
Split the channel.
I know, like flip it right quick.
No cannabis.
But we're going to get into it, and we're just going to have that hard talk. And to start it off, I want to talk about you guys' baby years. Cam, I'm going to start with you. Tell me what childhood looked like, where you're from, those baby Cam years.
Yeah, my name's Cam Hudson. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. I grew up in Antioch, but I bordered Antioch, Nashville, so I kind of had that Nashville, Antioch. But yeah, Nashville native is not that too many of us left, and just... I love it.
Now, tell me what life looked like. Did you have siblings? Were you involved in church? Kind of those early years, hobbies?
Yeah, so early years, sports, big football, basketball, track. I got siblings came a little bit later in life. Parents started when they in the 40s, 50s. I got a 4-year-old brother right now. So yeah. So I have a sister. She's 1 year apart from me. She's 21. But yeah, most of my childhood mostly was just sports. Big on the sports. Used to love wrestling growing up, and it just developed me to who I am today.
All the wholesome stuff.
The memories.
The memories.
Right.
And we're losing kind of those receipts, that playing outside, the bicycle. Right. We don't have that. Right. Now, Brandon, kind of tell me, I'm looking at you, tell me what those early years.
So, my name is Brandon Shelton. I grew up in Antioch as well, Nashville native. Early years for me, I come from a very athletic family. My brothers and sisters all stayed in basketball, brother in football and basketball. He eventually went on to play in the league. So growing up, I always had that expectation. Said, okay, you're gonna be a hooper. You're gonna be some ball player. So that's just growing up for me. I was, in soccer, football, basketball, even golf at one point. It just
everybody had their Tiger Woods era.
Yeah.
Now, Brandon, tell me kind of some of the things that we saw, and I want to talk specifically in relation to cannabis. As long as I've known, it's just been super taboo.
Right.
Smoking, smelling like grass, looking at, grass drug charges. It's just never a good conversation. Yeah. I want to talk about the culture that we kind of saw involving cannabis as kids. I want to talk, did you guys have any family members who were incarcerated through any drug charges? Did you guys kind of have those profiling experiences? Just tell me.
Yeah.
Most definitely, yeah. I've had a handful of family members just arrested on drug charges, whether that's cannabis or the harder stuff, and it just really inspired me to want to get into this industry so I can make a change and break some barriers for people that look just like Brandon and I, where we are African American, we have locks on our hair, and we like to wear nice, cool clothes. We want to break those barriers and show you that we can do this too.
I know, it's scary. I've been playing this episode for months, and I've just been back and forth. I'm like, oh my God, we are 3 young black people on here trying to talk about the benefits of cannabis. I'm like, how do I make this acceptable? But there is no way. Right. We just have to be honest.
Yes.
Because, people are going to feel how they feel. This is, people can say this is a class XYZ scheduled drug. This is this is illegal. This is the devil's lettuce. We've heard it all.
Right.
But this has a lot of benefits for people, and I think especially now we're in the day and age of like the THCA, the Delta 8, Delta 9. These things are super popular for like vets, for cancer patients, and who are we to deny those people?
Exactly.
Something that's not an opioid. I just did an episode about the opioid crisis, and these people still need those medications and those healing agents, but everyone, may not be able to take those opioids.
Right. Exactly.
And in our second segment, we're just gonna pick back up on kind of what you guys saw about this cannabis industry, how many black people we saw involved in this industry, and we're gonna talk about the establishment of Honey Gooh and ultimately ways that the community can support and ways that we can kind of normalize different cannabis usages here in Tennessee. And I encourage our viewers to tune into the second segment of Perspectives, where we'll be discussing cannabis culture in Tennessee. Welcome to the second segment of the show for today. For viewers just tuning in, I have two young men here with me discussing cannabis culture in Tennessee. And we kind of laughed at how taboo that may sound to some, but we're talking about just how this has been normalized in our culture. And we're talking about the benefits that cannabis usage may have for some users. And we're just talking about the culture behind this whole thing. I know that cannabis culture is one that is not often talked about. It is one that has an especially dark past and a dark history, especially for African American people who indulge in cannabis. And the way we talk about that history and just the ways that we're trying to change that history and kind of change the future of the cannabis industry here in Tennessee. And so, guys, we're hopping right back in. I was saying off camera that I personally wasn't even aware that there was a real industry for cannabis prior to maybe COVID. Once the lockdown really kind of was set in, I'd see brands like Cookies and other legal brands in Colorado's and New York and Vegas, you know, ship out their product and have their product, but I never really knew that there was such a deep industry. And I want y'all to tell me, what is this industry?
I'm gonna let you know now, Brandon.
So yeah, basically, this came to Tennessee and how it came to a lot of other southern states in Delta 8 CBD forms, and then eventually THCA came, which is pretty much the closest thing to legal marijuana that you could get in the state of Tennessee. And yeah, that caused the industry to just boom, because then you got your businesses from California, Colorado, they migrate over to Tennessee because they know it's still in the baby stages. And they're just waiting on the big boom, legalization through legislators, and yeah, it's looking good right now.
Now I wanna, oh my God, talk about actually like getting a footing in this industry, and this will talk about the establishment of Honey Gooh. Yeah, man. And once y'all had this idea, like, this is what we're going to get into, this is what we want to get into, you see that it's lucrative, you see that it can be profitable, and it's interesting, and it's also kind of an industry that we're underrepresented in.
Most definitely.
Definitely.
Tell me about the establishment of Honey Gooh.
Yeah, we went to MTSU, we were roommates, and it was during COVID, quarantine. We're sitting in the house, like, we can't go to work, we can't do anything. Let's do something, and there's something that has a meaning to it. To this day, we still not even thinking about profits of Honey Gooh and cannabis. Our main thing is just to break barriers for people that look just like us, to where you can go in these rooms, to, you know, Caucasians, and we can talk the same talk that you do, you know? Me and Brandon, we have family members who smoke marijuana, and you know,
it's how we like whisper that, because
it's so scary to say it, you know?
I know, right?
It's like so censorable, but we have family that smoke cannabis, and it's normal to us. You know, we see, like, I see my pops, he pulls out a joint, and it's normal to me. I grew up on it, and you know, when people look at me, I'm crazy, but when you pull a cigarette out, I'm like, you're harming yourself. You're crazy, you know? So
and it really is a cultural thing, because we look at cultures outside of the United States. Cannabis is used in teas and medicines, you know, all types of things. And so, really tell me, like, it's normal to us, and y'all do look crazy talking about this is normal.
No, this is normal.
But tell me, actually, like, that foundational getting Honey Gooh off the ground.
Yeah, it was really tough because we didn't have no guidance. We didn't have no mentors. People we did ask, they'd be like, oh, I was 20 at the time. He was 21. Like, you're young. You know, you're not even old enough to get started yet. You know what I'm saying? So as soon as we got to that legal age of 21, we were like, let's figure out how we can do this together, Brandon. Like, we went on YouTube, and after that, we had our first vendor, and after that, it was just history. We did Nashville, then went to Alabama vendors, then we drove 12, 13 hours to Miami. You know,
you
like
can't fly with it, so.
You can't
Right.
Right.
I didn't even think about that.
Right, yeah.
Oh, man.
Right, so it's just a lot of stuff that, you know, that hunger grind stages before we get started to, you know.
Now, oh my God, okay, so Lord, y'all are traveling to these places.
Right.
And you guys just like buy products or sell Honey Gooh products. Tell me how that relationship works.
Yeah, so far as like products, we have people that, we have growers, we have wholesalers that we get products from, and pretty much we just take it and check out each state that we go to, check out the laws and regulations, what's allowed, what's not allowed, and can and cannot bring, and take it there and pop up as a vendor. A little pop-up shop, so.
Oh my gosh, so just like going around footwork.
Footwork, just get literally hands-on before you try and think about like, let's open up a dispensary. Let's do this. Let's get hands-on. Let's talk to what the community wants. What do they like? Take those notes down, learn from it, and keep it moving. See how we can elevate as a business.
That's how we brought along like our other products like shea butter, tinctures, because we knew everyone don't intake cannabis through smoke. So you do have people who need it for medical reasons. So the tincture helps with the body. We have salves, lotions, and so we learned going out to these vendors that, hey, we need other products. We need other branches of income, pretty much.
Oh my goodness! Now, if someone wanted to purchase some Honey Gooh, where would they start?
Well, honeygoo.com.
Yeah.
Honeygoo.com.
Now, I know with shipping, how has that affected sales, if any?
It actually hasn't really affected us. Only thing I would say is people tend to get skeptical because they're getting cannabis through the mail. It just it don't seem right. Like I want my shirts through the mail. I don't want no cannabis through the mail. Nothing like that. But we definitely do a safety, precautious shipping process.
Notice law enforcement.
Notice law enforcement in case it does get stopped by the postal service. So
But it's legal, so
it's legal.
It's
It's
legal.
It's crazy how you have to like tell people like it is legal.
It's legal.
Boy. Like, OMG. Now tell me, drop this off at the post office.
Right.
I mean, I'm just curious to know that because these are the things people don't think about. But this is like scary stuff because y'all are walking a fine line between fine and good in prison.
Most definitely, yeah.
And especially as black people in this,
black people,
we cannot just be...
do that. No. It's definitely, my heart drops every time I go. It's definitely a scary process, but the people at the post office, they know me now.
Okay.
And we have that comfortable relationship. They like, Honey Gooh. I'm like, yep. So, we pretty much always put a notice of law enforcement in it. Make sure we have the customer's order. COAs, lab tested. Everything official, so it's nothing to the point where we just put in bud in a poly mailer and send it to you.
Stick it down,
ship it. Nah, it's real technical with it, and
And I went all up and through the website, and I was just left thinking, how does this stuff get to people?
Right.
I know, I looked at everything, I'm like, wow, they got some good stuff.
Right.
But am I gonna get like flagged for getting this in my mail?
Right.
And now I want to talk about, have you guys received or faced any intimidation from like maybe other brands, law enforcement, any pushback anywhere?
I would say that we've had some pushback. Remember, we were trying to get something in some stores, and they let us in, like gave us all that little wine with them and stuff like that. And then next thing you know, we just ghosted, like we don't know if it's because people overlook us because we're African-American or if it's because we're young 20s. We don't know. I mean,
and all of these are factors. And it's so crazy because I'd say that our generation are like, say, 20 to 30 young black people. Most of our media is filled with marijuana.
Exactly.
From movies to shows to songs, it's a part of our culture whether people like it or not.
Right.
So it makes no sense that we are so underrepresented in this industry.
Exactly.
And in our final segment, we're just going to come back. I'm going to have Marley Sims to talk about Simple Hippie Heart and talk about the Nashville Cannafest. We're just going to talk about continuing to normalize this and just ways that the community can support Honey Gooh, can support Simple Hippie, the Nashville Cannafest, and ultimately just continue to normalize this usage in Tennessee. And I thank y'all for this tough conversation because this ain't easy.
It ain't.
I encourage our viewers to tune into the final segment of Perspectives where we will be discussing cannabis culture in Tennessee. Welcome to the final segment of the show for today. This morning on Perspectives, I've been talking about cannabis culture in Tennessee, and on this final segment, I have Marley Sims and Zari Waller here to discuss cannabis culture in Tennessee, and we're really talking about the Nashville Cannabis Festival. This is going on from April 19th to April 21st, and we're talking about why this is needed here in Music City and just basically normalizing what some may consider a very taboo subject. And so, ladies, take it away. Marley, I want you to start. Just introduce yourself, to say who you are, what you do.
Well, hello. As you know, my name is Marley Sims. I am the organizer over the Nashville Cannabis Festival, and I also have a cannabis business called Simple Hippie Heart. I believe healing for your soul the hippie way. So I do all natural healing, like with herbs, with CBD extraction and infusion. So it's really cool. I make salves, tinctures, edibles, Anything you want infused, I can infuse it with cannabinoids and CBD. So that's what I do.
Where'd you get this education from?
Well, she didn't know. I went to Howard. So in 2013, I left Nashville, Tennessee to go to Washington, D.C. Biology major, music minor. I wanted to be a cardiologist. I really wanted to be the last person that kind of saved your life between life and death. Medicine and music always been my thing. So when I didn't really want to be a cardiologist no more because I talked to men and women that were cardiologists. And then I talked to women that underwent like the whole heart surgery. And a lot of the ways they would try to heal you or prolong your issue didn't really agree with my own general morals. Like, I wanted to actually heal you. I don't want another issue. So that's when I kind of found cannabis. And you know, in Washington, D.C., cannabis is fully legal. So it's okay if you smoke, if you eat it, you know, if you ingest it, it doesn't matter. So being able to be in Washington, D.C., I started my own business, Simplie Hippie Heart, where I would go to oncology centers, holistic centers, and I would educate their clientele on the holistic benefits of cannabis without smoking it. So I had a multiple sclerosis patient, and she loved critical haze. And critical haze is actually a strain of marijuana that's really good for alleviating issues within multiple sclerosis. So I used to make her teas, I made her tinctures, I made her honeys, and she loved it. Wow. Coming back down here in 2019 because of COVID, I had to matriculate into CBD. So I went from THC, and I'm like, okay, we have CBD. CBD is literally used for the holistic medicinal purposes. So I was like, why not educate the community on that? So I had my salves. So I started making salves, which is eczema, arthritis, and a pain relief, and then I got a healing salve. So from that, I was able to, you know, cultivate my own small community of hippies here in Nashville. And I realized there was a lot of taboo. It's a lot of taboo behind cannabis.
Really scared of that down here.
Scared that you hide everything else. I'm just like, where are you talking about? This is CBD. Like, you use it for holistic purposes. And so each year, because it's 2024 now, so each year I used to do Fridays, which where I infused food, and I will like tell you can eat this food, and this is the type of feelings you get, this reactions. And I got a lot of traction from that, and it just dawned on me, like, I am a black woman in the cannabis industry, and as a black woman in the cannabis industry, just being black at all, we are less than 1% of owners in the cannabis business. Wow. Yeah, less than 1% black farmers. And a business where, I'm telling you, go around the corner, you see a dispensary. Everywhere you see a dispensary. Everywhere you see a dispensary. But if you look in the court documents, you will see who is the #1 race incarcerated for marijuana. Us. So that's how I came up with the Nashville Cannabis Festival. I wanted to educate people with our community on the holistic benefits of cannabis. Since we all like that psychoactive feeling, what about the medicinal feeling? What about the farming wise? You know, you can make clothes from this. You know, you can actually build a house from like hemp fibers. There's a lot of things you can do with cannabis itself. And that's basically what the Nashville Cannabis Festival is. It's empowering and educating the community on the holistic benefits of cannabis in your everyday lifestyle.
Oh my goodness. Now I want you to tell me some of the events that are planned for the weekend. And I know, Zara, I know you're over the fashion show, so I ain't forgotten about you, but tell me, bring me in to some of the events that are planned over this weekend.
Yes, ma'am. So we have Fridays. That's on Friday. So yes, we're getting fried on a Friday, but it's a musical concert. So we have so many different artists. We got Chris King coming. My dear friend, her girlfriend, Lyrical Savage, she's one of the performers. We have Significant Records, who's another performer going on. Then we have Black Lincoln, who's another artist going up there. So we have like between 12 to 13 acts going on that night with vendors. From artisanal to food. Of course, we're going to have some dispensaries out there. Benny the Cannabis is going to be out there, so that's really cool, as y'all know who Benny the Cannabis is. And we also have New Fashion, which is a black-owned, like, non-alcoholic cannabinoid liquor. So it's actually cannabis mocktails. And he's actually one of our sponsors, and he's going to be out there all 3 days. Next day, 420, as we all know, that's my educational day because that's when we have all the kind of expos. So I have a farmer's expo that's going to tell you about like being a black farmer and like what you can do if you want to start farming in cannabis. I have an informative panel, which is going to have like Frederick Cawthorn, as you don't know, he is like the vice president of the U.S. Hemp Roundtable, and then he's also the president of the Hemp Alliance here in Tennessee. So he's going to be coming down talking about, you know, just information about cannabis, just, you know, dismantle the negative stigma surrounding it. So that's really cool to have him coming out. And then lastly, we have our legalization panel. And this is really important because we must figure out ways to unify as a community so we can actually get cannabis fully legal. Like, yes, we want to stop the ban on THCA, but I don't want to stop on THCA. I want to fully legalize cannabis because there should be no reason why it's not. It's too many holistic and medicinal benefits to it that can actually boost and empower the community and get more money into our ecosystem.
Especially
you know what I'm saying?
in comparison to like pharmaceuticals, opioids. I was just talking to the young men that were in that second segment about that crisis, and everyone who experiences like a major trauma or surgery doesn't want to take, you know, Percocets, fentanyl, you know, these things, but there is a popular holistic way of going about this that people do want that, you know, shouldn't be demonized.
Shouldn't be demonized.
You know? And now, Zari, tell me about that fashion show.
I'm not ready for the fashion show. I'm so excited. So we're going to start the day off at 10 a.m. with our blunts and brunch. So you can come out, smoke, get your brunch foods. We're going to have House of Legends. They're going to be our servers for us that day. Also, with those tickets, if you get the pre-roll ticket, you do get a pre-roll that comes with your ticket when you come in for brunch. We have 7 designers. So excited for them. We have like jumpsuits. We have a designer that's handcrafting everything, that's wanting to showcase the 4 seasons of the year. It's so much going on. I have about 25 models. And we're just ready to come put on the show.
And Zari, how did you get involved with this? Like, for real?
Well, so, you know, I've been modeling about 3 years now. Started small, you know, doing fashion shows. And then my good friend Marley here reached out. She was like, hey, you've done a lot of fashion shows. Could you help with coordinating this one? Of course.
Yeah.
Of course I am. Like, because I have my own model group, NTLO, which stands for Not the Little One. It's for plus size women.
Girl, see, I don't miss a beat.
So yes, I definitely wanted to expand more with that to give more plus size women the opportunity to come. I do have about 7 plus size models of my own that decided to come down, audition, and made the cut. So I'm really excited for that. And then I'm just excited to, you know, just expand NTLO more to do more shows in the future.
Dog, sorry. Now, we ain't seen each other since we were on the campus at Tennessee State University.
Yes.
I was in the band, she was in the band.
Spang, yeah.
That was like 3. God, somebody's gonna hear that and be like, she done got on TV and said spang, spang. But I ain't seen her in 3 years, and just to hear like what she's doing, and I know that she's had that passion for fashion.
Yeah.
That rhymed. But she's had that passion, and just seeing it in real life is amazing. And seeing black women, you know, getting our foot in the door in this industry, trailblazing is an understatement. Plug in the ways that people can connect with y'all and people can just support Simple Hippie Heart, Zari, NTLO. Just plug yourselves in this last minute of this final segment.
Got you. So y'all can find me on social media at The Big Body Hottie. And if you're looking for the NTLO page, it's I Am NTLO on Instagram.
And then you guys can find me at Simple Hippie Heart or Simple Hippie Healers. Also the Nash Cannafest. And then I am Cannabis Marley. So it's Cannabis__Marley with 2 eyes. But also you can come to my store. So I have a store out in Madison, Simplie Majikal, 310 East Hickory Boulevard, where we're there Wednesday through Sunday. And you can also come check out some of our medical physical products and my CBD products as well. But don't forget to buy your tickets to the Nashville Cannabis Festival. So.
Don't forget. And ladies, thank y'all for coming and for just having this conversation with me. I've been scared about this topic, but it needs to be talked about.
Don't be scared. We're coming.
They're coming.
We're coming.
Everybody's coming.
Everybody's
coming.
We're
and we can't fight that. I love this. Thank you, ladies, for just sharing your stories with me this morning and for the work that you do on the ground. And to our viewers, thank you for allowing me the space to share these unique stories that shape our community. Thank you and good morning.